All right, back to the war on narcissism. Shoot, this might be a whole movement. An original one? Nah, because there's already people that have been talking about narcissism for quite a while, for years and years. You know, they call them narcs for short, but that could be confusing if you just jumping on the channel. You're going to think I'm talking about some real street stuff then. Like, what are you talking about? Stay away from the narcs. What do you mean? Like, narcotics, narcotic cops, the you know what I mean? The movie with Ray Liotta, Narc. You know what I mean? So a person think that. So I don't use that terminology. But yes, I am aware and I do acknowledge that that is an official term that gets used to describe narcissists. So yes, I do acknowledge that for sure. That's a reality in the space. So we've been talking about the problems that narcissism causes and how we are to avoid it and everything like that. So let's talk about the flip side. Let's talk about the cure. What's the cure? And when we say cure, what keeps us from being the narcissist? Let's discuss. Because we don't want to be this kind of person to other people. And we got to make sure that we're not being this kind of person, that we're not being narcissistic unawares, whether knowingly or unknowingly. So we do want to tackle it real quick. We want to tackle it. First thing, this might not be in any given order, but this just helps in keeping us anti-narcissistic, keeps us practicing what we preach, keeps us from being hypocritical, and so on and so forth. But understand this. If communicated respectfully, everybody's opinion matters. If communicated respectfully, everybody's opinion matters. Also acknowledge instances where the person may not at first communicate with the most respect, but this might have everything to do with what the person doesn't know yet. The person might just be ignorant at the time. You know what I mean? So that's a reality. The person could just be, I didn't mean it that way. But if their words really matter to you, y'all could get to that point. I've had interactions like that didn't start off positive at first, but then came out to be positive because we were still considering, we still saw value in each other's thoughts. We just knew that we was coming from different directions with the stances that we took. So yeah, that's real. That's real. And I do want to definitely acknowledge the reality of that. Where you can, if people's thoughts matter to you, you making them matter, that is a very anti-narcissistic trait. I guess the opposite of that, maybe, I guess it would be, empathic. I guess a very empathic way to look at it would be to say, all right, your thoughts matter, whether I agree with them or not, too. That's, you know what I mean? Just because a person has a different point of view, that's not what you're basing the value of their thoughts on. For one, you're just really appreciating the perspective, the fact that somebody else has a different perspective. That's more so what it has to do with, and the fact that the dialogue is even open in the first place. Just the fact that there is open dialogue, that's usually enough to warrant some very decent interactions. So that's the first thing. Everybody's thoughts matter, whether it's facts, whether it's opinions, whatever. Just the fact that they thinking, you gotta appreciate it. Just appreciate the fact that you're not the only one with a brain, that other people got minds and they got perspectives, and they're gonna have a way of looking at it that nobody else has seen before because they are the first and last them. Everybody that you're looking at is an alpha and omega. They're the first and last them that there will ever be. So their thoughts and opinions matter. Whether it sounds like everybody else's or not, they still matter. That's one of the things. That might be the main thing. That might be the main cure for narcissism right there. That might be it. That actually might be it. That might be it. That might be all you need. You know, I'm trying to think right now, but that's really the main thing. Everybody's thoughts matter. You know, that's one of the main things. Here's another one though. You both can be right. Oh, that's a good one. You both can be right. Man, that makes me want to just hit the horn. But everybody's driving well, so there's no need for me to hit the horn. But it made me want to hit the horn though, because both people can be right. Both people can be right. It's about perspective. Both people can be right. We run into this a lot with narcissists. Just because they came up hearing things one way, they assume that their viewpoint is the only viewpoint that really exists, or that the viewpoint that they're holding is true north. They do it all the time. They do it all the time. But really, both people can be right. Both sides can be right. All right, so what? Your God showed up to your leader in a burning bush. If your God showed up to your leader in the form of a burning bush, can he show up to the other people in the form of a frog, an elephant, mice, birds, trees? Look, y'all said that God appeared to Moses in the burning bush. That's the only way he can appear? Right. So then that means both people can be right. Because if God spoke to one person, then he spoke to everybody. If we all come from him, this is if you subscribe to the Abrahamic Judaism and Christianity type thing. If you do, then these are the things that you got to live by. And what I'm just what's really sometimes gives me a migraine is that a lot of people who argue for Christianity and Judaism and defend it vigorously, they don't know nothing about what's in there. It just hurts my heart, because that you can't say the same for Islam. I got to give them that. Nah, they be knowing what's going on with Muhammad. They be knowing what's going on. They know, because it has a real cultural tie-in. I don't think it's you know, I'm going out on a whim here, but I don't think I overheard in any of the reports that it was the Muslims over in Israel fighting. Right? So culturally speaking, you know, both people can be right. So, hey, look, all right, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know of anybody in real life who's actually been able to prove the existence of God, like make the God physically appear where the proof is irrefutable for the whole world. Do you know anybody who's really been on the scene to see this happen? I haven't. I don't know anybody who's really seen God. In the New Testament, I know that there's scriptures that say no one has ever seen God. They can have all the visions of the Lord they want to, but they said nobody's really seen God before. And I'm guessing that's because the true essence of what we're calling God is invisible. We're not going to see God anywhere but in each other. I'm going to say that again. We probably won't see God in anyone else but each other. If he's invisible and he's all power, how could we even see anything like that or anyone like that? How? You tell me. I can see electricity working, but I can't see electricity. I can see that I'm breathing air, but I can't see the air that I'm breathing. So both people can be right. It's another cure for narcissism. Both people can be right. So both people can be right was the second one, and the first one is everybody's thought or viewpoint matters. I'm not going to call it just opinion, because whether they say an opinion or fact, it still matters. It still matters. Narcissism. Here's another one that I really want to hammer home for narcissism, the cure for it. We can learn all the time. Everybody don't believe this, but we can learn all the time, all the time. If you're going to be a student for all of your life, for all of your existence, even if you're a teacher, even if you're respected as a master teacher, but if you're in a position where in your mind and in your heart, you're still that same student who always wants to get a 100 on the test, who wants to study and go above and beyond and get all the extra credit, points right and all that. If you're still that kind of student who wants to get straight A's and stay on the honors roll and get the full scholarship, if you're still that student, you'll always have people who want to learn from you because you're eager to learn. People who are eager to learn are eager to be learned from. I'll say that again too. People who are eager to learn are eager to be learned from. Conversely, a person that don't want to learn nothing, don't nobody want to hear from them. Nobody want to hear from a person that don't want to learn nothing. If nobody could tell you anything, like you can't tell that person nothing, well, you probably don't want to hear anything from a person that can't be told anything. You probably don't. Where the dialogue gonna come in? Where's there gonna be a dialogue without argument? Where's that gonna happen? You know, if the person be one that is not open to learning. That's the mirror effect again. If you like to learn, you're gonna learn. But in your desire to learn, the bonus is that you're probably gonna end up teaching a lot of people too. Just because you like to learn. Your desire to learn, that's gonna grow and that's gonna multiply and magnify. And before you know it, you know, a great student ends up becoming an excellent teacher. An excellent student ends up becoming an outstanding teacher. An outstanding student eventually becomes a remarkable teacher, a one of one. So those are the rules of narcissism. And I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it at 3. The one thing is everybody's opinion matters. The second thing is both people can be right. And the third one is that you can keep on learning. You can keep on learning. Super T Sigma, Sigma programming. The more you know, the more you grow. Peace.